And of course, everybody's talking about gold and silver. They have been soaring lately. Gold hit 5,550 this morning. Silver nearing 120 US. Here to tell us more and do a deep dive on the precious metals sector is Lawson Winder, Senior Metals and Mining Analyst at BofA Securities. Thank you for joining us, Lawson. Let's just talk general. I mean, gold, it's going crazy. And then you look, and then silver is actually ahead of it.
Yeah, look, I mean, we think there's a lot of reasons for gold's performance and silver's. If we look at gold, I mean, as a firm, we've been calling for gold to reach these levels since it was well below $2,000. And ultimately, our thinking was the twin deficits in the United States. You have a trade deficit, and then you have a budget deficit. And you know those two on their own are a very compelling reason to hold gold, giving risk around the U.S. dollar and U.S.-based investments. But, you know, a couple of other things have happened since gold was well below $2,000. I mean, one is you've seen central banks materially step up their buying of gold to the tune of well over 1,000 tons a year, which is the highest in the historical record that we keep back to the 1950s. You've also seen the Chinese real estate market collapse, and so you've seen Chinese investments step up. And then you have dependable India. So Indian consumers and investors continue to buy gold at very strong rates.
It's one of the largest markets, is it not, for gold?
It is. China and India account for about 60 to 65% of total consumption of physical gold in any given year. So yeah, very important markets.
And also, I can't remember the name of the company, but there are companies that are starting to hoard gold now, as like actual physical gold. They have vaults of it.
Right. Yeah. So a tether related.
I think companies. I think I saw $23 billion worth of gold they had, like actual.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's a significant amount of gold. I mean, the other sort of institution in terms of physical gold investments is the GLD, right? The ETF, and I mean that certainly is a popular vehicle with a lot of investors. What we like to focus on is specific stocks, but certainly we see a lot of our institutional clients choosing to get investments to physical through the ETFs.
And with everything the way it's going, where do you see gold continue on its rise? And then we're going to bring silver and maybe some other precious metals as options in as well.
Yeah, absolutely. The conditions have led gold to almost $5,500 right now haven't really changed. If anything, I mean, they're starting to accelerate. And what I mean is, you know, the concern around the twin deficits in the U.S., those continue to be very real. And for a lot of investors have become an even more real concern in recent months and quarters. The other thing is that financial stress has started to increase, and then geopolitical conflict has started to increase. And, you know, these are the things that investors tend to like about gold. Now, central banks, I mean, we think are largely indifferent to a lot of this stuff, but they continue to buy at very strong levels despite the price being as high as it is. Typically, you'd see them target a certain value of gold, but actually volumes have remained relatively strong despite the value of gold that they're purchasing almost doubling.
Okay, and silver, it's a lot more volatile. I mean, it's outperformed, but is it still on its way? I mean, it's up 60% in the last month.
Yeah, it's nearly doubled since late last year. So it's really surprising performance. But I think what's happening is it's riding gold's coattails as an investment to protect against a lot of these things that we've discussed. Silver is a bit of a different metal than gold. So gold, most of it goes into vaults, it goes into ETFs, it goes into various jewelry boxes around the world, particularly in India and China. Silver, though, about 60% of silver is actually consumed in industrial applications, mostly around electrical and electricity. So that remains the case. And then one particular application that's been a really big source of demand for silver has been photovoltaic, so solar panels.
Solar panels, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and let's talk about some of the companies you're liking with everything that's unfolding around here.
Right. So as we were discussing on the break there, Pan American Silver is a company that we like. We recently increased our price objective quite materially to $73. I mean, at the time, there was well over 35% upside. I mean, the shares have rallied very strong. It's approaching that target, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the shares can't continue to perform well. So, just to give you an idea about why we like Pan American, I mean, first off, it's a very diverse portfolio of silver and gold assets. So it gives you a balanced exposure to both metals, both which we like, as I discussed earlier. But in thinking about where we are today on Pan American Silver, the more that silver and gold continue to rally, the more upside potential there is. So we think about mark to market on estimates. So just thinking about like putting the current spot price of silver and the current spot price of gold through our models, we'd be looking at a doubling of our current 2026 EBITDA versus our current estimates, which were set just 2 months ago, and a tripling of our free cash flow estimates. And so that leads to another reason why we really like this stock. And many precious metals, to be fair, but we particularly like Pan American with its both silver and gold exposure. On these mark-to-market levels, they have the ability to return a lot of capital to shareholders. So we saw a fairly significant capital return in 2025 to the tune of about 175 to 200 million. We see the potential for that to very, very materially step up in 2026, particularly on spot prices. And then just finally, I mean, this is a company that has a lot of unused assets in their portfolio. So they have a mine in Guatemala that's not currently operating, but would be the third largest silver mine on the planet, would it to operate. And they're working with the government on getting that mine restarted. They also operate a project in Argentina, which hasn't been able to get permits for almost 2 decades.
Oh, wow.
We have a new government in Argentina that's doing a lot of work with the mining sector, trying to get a lot of these projects built. So 2 pieces of value that we see unpriced in the shares today that present a lot of upside.
So good reason for optimism.
Yeah.
All right, we have to wrap it up there, but Lawson, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Roger.
And that's Lawson Winder, Senior Metals and Mining Analyst at BofA Securities.